Hey everybody, this is Paul Rogers. I'm CEO here at CieAura and DMG, and it was requested of me to tell what is called my Thanksgiving story, which took place in 1992 when I first got introduced to this industry. See, we're moving into the season of the holidays when you're around friends and family and those that you love. And since you love CieAura, this is a great time to introduce this business to people. And that's really where my business began in 1992 at Thanksgiving. And this might be a little bit long, so I beg your patience a little bit. I'm going to talk as fast as I can, which is tough for a guy from Texas. But in 1992, when I started, you hear about all these success stories in the network marketing industry. I started as a distributor. The name of the company was XL Communications. And I was horrible at it. I was an absolute miserable failure my first 90 to 120 days. I sponsored one person in my first 90 days, and that was my mother. So that tells you how successful I was at it. No one wanted to join my business. I did what's called throwing up all over people. Talked too much about the comp plan or the product. Alienated all my friends and family. Had zero success. And we come to Thanksgiving. We come to November. That time I'm living in California, Pasadena, California. All my family's in Texas. Every year. We come back to Texas to have Thanksgiving at my parents' house. Extended family comes in. There's 20 or so people there. And so, of course, I'm coming from California where I had a horrible failure and horrible success and no success whatsoever. And I was coming to Texas, and I was like, okay, perfect. All my family's going to be there. That's an in-home. So we're going to be able to talk about the business. And, of course, they're my family. They're all going to want to do the business with me. As I would find out, oral surgery without anesthetic would have been less painful than trying to talk to my family. So here I come with my family, my wife, two small children at that time, traveling from California. I had this huge flip chart back then. Obviously, it's before computers. Huge flip chart. It's basically like a sheet of plywood cut in half. And I show up at my parents' house, and my cousins are there, and uncles, and brother and sister. It ended up being about 18 family members. And the first day, I get there on Wednesday. We're sitting at the table. Everybody's eating pecan pie, as they do in the Deep South, and sitting there with my brother and two cousins, uncle, and so on. And my mom comes up behind my brother and says, boys, Paul's got a little business he wants to talk to you about. You've never seen men eat pie that fast at that point. As soon as that word was mentioned, Paul has a business he wants to talk to you about. It's like, no one would make eye contact with me. And I'm looking at everybody, I'm going, guys, it's okay, no big deal. You know, we'll talk sometime over the next 2 days. Well, little did I know that over the course of the next 2 days, now understand, my parents have a 4-bedroom house. It was a large house. But it's amazing how 20 people can disappear inside of a 4-bedroom house. It's like I didn't see anyone for the next 2 days. I'd walk into a room, suddenly the room would empty. No one wanted to talk about the business. Everybody'd say, oh, yeah, I want to hear about it. Well, let's watch the game. Oh, yeah, I want to hear about it, but I got to eat a little bit. Oh, yeah, I want to hear about it, but, I've got to go to the bathroom. Whatever excuse they could come up with to not have to sit down and hear about this business. Well, here I am. I had no success in California. I come to Texas expecting my family to embrace me and be excited about it, and none of them would even sit down and listen to me. I was so incredibly depressed. At that time, I was staying at my in-laws' house since so many people were at my parents' house. Thursday night comes and goes. No conversation about the business. I wake up in a cold sweat Friday realizing my in-home is about to go home. Everybody's about to leave. They're going to go back to all their cities. I wake up at 6:30 and I call my dad. Say, Dad, can I please come over and just do a quick presentation? He said, oh, son, I don't think anybody wants to hear it. I'm sorry. And I was like, oh. Put Aunt Scarlett on the phone. Aunt Scarlett comes on the phone. Aunt Scarlett, can I please come by? Just tell everybody I'm going to come by. I'll need about 10 minutes. Long pause. She goes, okay. So there's my opening. Aunt Scarlett's going to keep everybody there. My mom's going to keep everybody there. I grab my huge flip chart, throw on my pants, run out the door. My parents' house is 2 minutes away. We're about 2 miles away. I go screaming over there. And when I pull up at the front, all the cars are out front. This is a cold November morning. All the cars are out front already running. The engines are running. It's like when Aunt Scarlett said, yeah, you can come over. What she really did was said, he's coming. Run. Get out. Save yourselves. Because everybody had run out and started their car. Suddenly, they're leaving. And so I see this. I walk through the front door with my huge flip chart. I open the door, and they're all walking towards the door with their travel mugs of coffee. Like this. Like I caught them. I block them with my massive flip chart, and I say, sit down. You're going to hear this, because at this point I was just angry, And so they begrudgingly walked over. You never seen people like, They walk over, sit down on the couch, and I set up my huge flip chart. And I'm making eye contact with each of them because I'm afraid if I don't, they'll leave. So I'm sitting here flipping the flip chart, going through it. It's supposed to be like a 25-minute presentation. I did it in probably about 6 minutes. I was sweating. I noticed a strange thing. About halfway through the presentation, as they were sort of making fun of me and poking fun of me, they sort of uncrossed their arms and they started to lean forward. You see, they started to understand, wait a second, you build a team, you have a great product, build a team, and that product sells a little bit of the product, and you get a little bit from all the product that is purchased down through your organization. And the lights began to go on, and they began to think about residual income and leveraged income. And so the arms come down, and here at the end of my world's fastest presentation, as I'm sweating and making eye contact with them, they're leaning forward, and now at this point, they start arguing about who's going to come into whose business. Because at that point, they all said, well, we always believed in Paul. We always knew this was a great business. And since I loved him more, I should be the first one to come in, and you guys all can come in underneath me. They're arguing about who's going to join who. That day changed my business. I'm not sure what would have happened if I'd have gone back to California. I learned two things on that day. One, if you want it bad enough, if your why is big enough, you can step outside of your comfort zone and do anything. I wanted it so bad that I was able to endure talking to my family, making sure they sat down and listened to me. And if you step out of your comfort zone, then magic can happen, because that business that day changed my business. A year later, I had sponsored almost 50 people personally. Why? Because I became a student, learned how to do it right instead of being stupid. And secondly, my organization grew to over 17,000 people in that year. Is that typical? I don't know if it's typical, but it was typical for me. And it began with me understanding how important my business was, stepping out of my comfort zone and talking to people that didn't even want to listen, but they were family and they had agreed that they would listen, and they sat down with me. And I endured the pain and the frustration to talk with them and share it. And it wasn't what I said, because you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. It was the right time for them. I didn't press them. I didn't try to convince them. I didn't sell them. I presented the information, and when they saw it, it made sense to them. Certainly wasn't based upon what a great presentation I did. It was the right time in their life, and their lives have been changed as a result. Many of them have made more money than I have as a retailer in this industry. I went on from a retailer to go on to the corporate side. So now I'm on the corporate side here running CieAura and DMG. And I look at the holiday season and I think about the lives that will be changed because you step out of your comfort zone. Embrace your family, embrace those that you love, because you want to work with people that you love and help them accomplish their goals and dreams. That's the best gift of any holiday season, is looking at the lives that were changed. Not because of what I did, but just because I put the information out there. They made a decision and it changed their life. Guys, happy holidays. Make it a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourself and have a great time building your business. Take care.
CieAura, creating total balance for life.